Once again, I'm pleased with the point away from home, but as ever, under Steve Bruce, it feels very, very fortuitous. Let's get into the match review. I'll never be disappointed with a Newcastle United point away from home in the Premier League, but good grief, that was a tough watch this afternoon. After Shelvey and Hayden were both ruled out before the match due to injuries, it left us very, very thin in central midfield. Bruce in fact came under pressure for these injuries because basically he keeps playing players when they're not fully fit through the pain barrier, and his squad management does seem reckless at times, which is another thing that people are getting concerned about with him. Anyway, so we were greeted with a very bizarre starting 11, which left everyone scratching their heads as to what the formation would be that we'd be playing, and I must admit I looked at it for a good 10 or 15 minutes myself and I couldn't figure it out. It was definitely 3 at the back though with 2 wing backs, but to be honest, even during the match it wasn't obvious what the game plan was. And I think this is part of my concern with Bruce and the way things are going. We should be going into matches understanding what the plan is at the very least, but today I was honestly unsure of what Bruce was trying to achieve. Bear in mind we had quite an attacking lineup. You'd assume that Wilson would be heavily supported by the likes of Saint-Maximin, Almiron, who finally got a start, and Fraser. However, time and again, whenever we did manage to break forward, Wilson had nobody within 30 or 40 yards of him, and this is a pattern that we've become all too accustomed to seeing this season. Almiron, who was probably up there with our goalscorer Murphy in the man of the match stakes, worked tirelessly as you'd expect from the Paraguayan, he always does. But I've never seen him have such a defensive game for the club. He's an attacking outlet, or at least he should be, yet Bruce had set up the team in such a way that it meant Almiron was often playing in his own defensive third. Head-scratching stuff. I appreciate that the injuries caused us issues with our thin squad, but honestly, the lack of a plan in an attacking sense was disturbing, yet not surprising. The reliance on Alan Saint-Maximin to be the guy who provides the key to unlock the opposition every game has become a theme of the season. We all know how good he is. However, today he didn't have a good game, but then you can't blame the guy for not playing 8 or 9 out of 10 every single week. He's still young and he's still developing. And with the other attacking players on the pitch today, we should have found a way to have others make an impact in the attacking game. However, this comes down to the game plan. But that plan never sees us control games. In fact, we never ever control matches. We go into games seemingly with a sense of hope rather than expectation, and I for one am absolutely fed up of it. We never dominate possession. Today we had 37% to Wolves' 63. We never outshoot our opponents. Today we had 5 shots to Wolves' 16. And there's a whole host of other metrics you could look at for every single Premier League game that we play, and we're usually second best. Ultimately, you have to be better than that. You can only defy the statistics for so long. People will point out it's a results business, and that is, of course, true. A point at Wolves is a good result. I'm not going to deny that. But this was another match in a long line of matches, a long line of Bruce ball that sees us always being the second best and hoping for a miracle. And today, once again, we somehow got it. Murphy, who started for the first time in 2 years in the Premier League, spotted that the Wolves wall was too far across from a free kick, and he curled a shot into the bottom corner. Absolutely terrific execution, and he played really, really well. Like I say, up there as man of the match in a lot of people's eyes. That goal came in the 89th minute, which was 10 minutes after Jimenez had put Wolves to lead with a really good effort from outside of the box. I'd have liked to have seen our players who were closing him down do better personally. Longstaff and Joe Linton should have been sprinting at Jimenez rather than slowing down in anticipation of the shot and almost blocking their faces. And of course, Darlow in goal, he should have saved it, I think. He dived across with his left hand instead of his right hand and therefore made weaker contact on the ball, and it kind of went in the net. Thankfully, we did get that equaliser though. But make no mistake, this was another match that Bruce has got lucky in. It was a terrible performance and we were fortunate to leave with a point. As I keep saying, one day Bruce's luck is going to run out, and when it does, we are going to be in such a mess. I don't want to see Newcastle ever lose a match, no matter how much I don't like the manager. But what I find hard to take this season is that I believe we actually have a squad capable of playing some decent stuff, dominating some matches and looking for a solid mid-table finish rather than looking over our shoulders at the relegation fight. Overall, not a great performance by any stretch of the imagination, but it's another point on the board and, another point towards safety, and that's how we've got to look at it, unfortunately, with Steve Bruce. Rather than thinking, it's another point towards the top 10, It's just a case of, well, it's another point closer to safety, come what may, and it's just so disappointing to have that. I'd love to know what you made of the game. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the result and the performance. Thank you for watching this video, I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing too, and I will see you really soon for another video.